Hi, I'm Manny, and like I think I said in the last art commentary, I'm back with some actual Warframe gameplay, and something I've seen in a lot of like Warframe gameplay videos on YouTube is that there are very long sections of people either going over their builds or doing some management at their like home base, like the orbiter, or like just standing around like doing nothing for dozens of minutes at a time. And to me, like, I just wanted to make something a little bit different, so all you're gonna get in this gameplay commentary is, well, gameplay and commentary. It's just gonna be the missions back to back to back, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. You can chill out, watch this on your work break or during your lunch or whatever. But anyway, I'm playing Caliban Prime recently because I kind of fell off of Mirage. Like, I mained Mirage during like over 150 to 200 of the 300 or 400 hours. Like, basically I spent most of this game playing Mirage Prime, and so I recently unlocked Caliban Prime, so I'm just playing him. I've got him built for as much ability strength and ability range as possible without sacrificing duration, so I can take advantage of his summons. The summon on Caliban that I mostly use is the one that regenerates your shields and gives you over shields, because it also summons like other mini dudes to attack the enemies and distract them. And I don't necessarily need the summons for DPS because I can use his second ability, which again, because I'm building him for range, I can crowd control enemies pretty well and take advantage of the Tau status effect that it deals, and it makes enemies take even more damage. Besides, most of the damage I do just comes from my actual weapons. Like, I don't necessarily need, like, I need abilities for like crowd control and sustain, and I'll leave the damage up to my weapons, which you see me here using the Orthus Prime, which is all reliable. Basically, I have it built so that it inflicts tons and tons of different like status. Like, I think I have radiation, I have magnetic, I have electricity and viral on it. No, I think I don't have viral. I think it's just radiation, magnetic, and electricity. And I have it set so that it keeps building up a crit chance, and it deals more damage to enemies based on how many status effects they have. And then on my secondary and primary, I have the arcane. I think it's called arcane dexterity. So basically, when I get melee kills, it increases the base damage of my primary and secondary weapons. So I'll just use the melee and then switch to my primary and secondary for a while and just completely clean house. Although I've been moving away from that, I have the Kuva Nucor with magnetic element as my secondary, and I kind of set it so that every time it inflicts heat, it increases the base damage. And then I have it with all kinds of status effects, but also heat, like uncombined heat, so that it inflicts heat reasonably frequently, so that increases the base damage. Because the problem with using the dexterity arcanes is that you're seeing it right now. Some enemies are actually at an advantage when you try and melee them, so it's not as reliable to get the damage bonus for your primary and secondary. As for my primary, I'm using the Ceto Prime, which again is all reliable. Same build as the melee. Inflict as much status as you can, and take advantage of how much damage you deal to enemies that have tons of different status on them, and use the special glaive ability to prime them. Now, a quick mention of what's going on here. I'm fighting somebody else's Kuva Lich, and I decide it's not worth the trouble because he is kicking my ass. Because, as I mentioned before, I have to get in close to enemies and like use my melee so I can prime them for my primary and secondary. But every time I got close to this guy, he was just whooping my ass. So I decide not worth the trouble. I'm gonna leave because all the other players aren't fighting him either. By the way, in the mission before this one, I said I was running the Ceto Prime. I run the Ceto Prime. It's like my sort of, all reliable, like I said, default primary. But in that last mission, I was actually running the Kuva Toncore with radiation, like inherent radiation, because I wanted to try the build where I would prime with my melee weapon and then use the bonus from arcane dexterity to like just blast entire crowds. But it didn't work really well because it wasn't the right mission type. I'm actually running Kuva Lich missions because I want to collect all the Kuva weapons, and I decided to make them all with magnetic element because no matter who you're fighting, you always need magnetic for like Eximus units, which have like tons and tons of overshields. So I want to get all of them with inherent magnetic, even if they're not necessarily primary status weapons. It's still just nice to have. Plus, if it already has magnetic, I can also slot in a cold and electricity, combo elements in there because it already has magnetic, so it's not gonna take away if I try and put like extra cold or extra electric. Also, if for any reason I want to change the element on any of my Kuva weapons, I can just generate a new Kuva weapon of that type with a different element and then kind of like merge the two, and it'll let me pick which of the two elements I want the new one to have. Plus, I'm gonna have to be generating tons and tons of Kuva weapons. Like, I need to really expedite this whole process because I want to farm all the Kuva weapons, and I also want to get all of their inherent like magnetic status up to 60%. But to do that, you need to sacrifice duplicates of that Kuva weapon. So that's going to be a hell of a grind. So I think I might just like do that in between farming all this other stuff. Which, if I do another Warframe commentary, I'm probably going to be farming the Undermines content, which is the Mushroom Warframe thing. Because I want to max out the standing for it, like research all the mushroom types, and it's actually not that bad of a grind. Like, there's tons of grinds in Warframes that are way worse than that. Like, I remember people kind of said that it was a little bit tedious, and then I did the content and I'm like, oh, it's actually not that bad. This is quite enjoyable, especially if you like get in with other people. It goes by pretty quickly, and it kind of escalates. Like, the ball gets rolling and it rolls faster and faster as you do more and more of those missions. Plus, I almost have all the components for Noko, which is the Mushroom Warframe. But my ultimate goal doing the Undermined content is that once I've maxed out everything, I can actually purchase some very desirable arcanes using the special currency you get from that content. So my plan is to farm out those arcanes, max them out, and then buy some more as a way of trading them in for like Vosphor, so that I can roll more gacha, do more slot machine rolling for other arcanes. Because the thing is, I can only farm so much syndicate reputation in one day, so I can't like get tons and tons more Vosphor than just, what I can get in one day. But if I can farm out a lot of arcanes in the Undermines content, then I can just sell those extra arcanes for Vosphor and just keep getting more and more currency to keep rolling. So from what I understand, I think 210 of the Undermines DLC will give me enough to buy enough arcanes to sell for enough Vosphor to do one roll. Like I've already got the math all sorted out, so I'm gonna definitely be grinding that. And like I grinded out the Necromech. This kind of grind, I know it's not like optimal, it's not like meta, but it's just something I came up with, and it's something that I don't find that bad to do. So I will just grind it that way, because good lord, do I need to max out some arcanes. Like the game is piling it in heavy with how powerful enemies get. As a matter of fact, I've been ranking up the Kavia standing, and I've been doing the max rank, you know, not Steel Path, but the max rank Exterminate bounty mission, because it gives you 5,000 standing in one shot. And so you just do 5 of those and you reach the daily cap. But the enemies in it, like I'm starting to feel the game, you know, pushing back against my very limited ability to do tons of damage. Because the thing is, I have this like conspiracy theory that there is a bug in my account and it's nerfing my damage, because I have followed so many like different guides that, and not just guides of, oh, just do this and you'll get millions of damage. Like I don't like guides like that. I like guides that teach you reliable ways to come up with your own, like, you know, ways of dealing damage. So I've watched guides that say, oh, this is a good idea for modding, or mod for like various sources of damage. Don't just go all in on one. Or this is how you best use an arcane. Or these weapons are best for crit. These weapons are best for element. These are best for status proccing. And the thing is, even with all that knowledge, I'm still having a hard time doing as much damage as I feel I'm supposed to do based on what I've seen other people at my level do. Now, one thing you should keep in mind when giving, I mean, if you want to give me feedback, like I'm actually asking for backseat gamers to help me out here, is that I've been using weapons that aren't as high mastery rank requirement as, you know, the level of the enemies that I actually fight. Like some of these weapons I use, you can get pretty early on in the game, but I don't know if that makes them actual like beginner weapons, or if it doesn't matter and I can make most weapons regardless of mastery rank requirements. If I can make most weapons actually work just with the right modding setup that I just don't understand yet. Another factor that might be a big thing in why I sometimes don't deal as much damage as I should is that I play on controller and I'm not as accurate as most players. So a lot of my gameplay is kind of a spray and pray and hope that the targeting reticule is where I want it to be, because playing with mouse and keyboard hurts my hands too much. Which is not to say that I can't like get headshots on a reasonable amount. But for example, here you see me using the Kuva Nucor because I can just generally aim it, and as long as it touches an enemy, it'll keep chaining off of more enemies. And the primary I use, the Ceto Prime, has like a radial attack that's kind of like a bouncing glaive that you don't really need to aim that much. You just aim it in the general direction of the enemies, and it has like an area of effect. And since it's a shotgun, I don't necessarily have to land every single pellet, you know, exactly on point. I just need to aim more or less around the area of the head or the weak spot, and I'll get good numbers. But when it comes to like precision, like stuff like the Latum, or, you know, just Incarnon guns in general, where you need to get like headshots in order to charge it, that can give me a lot of trouble because I'm not that good at like precision, pinpoint target aiming. And something that I've taken to doing more is using melee and Warframe abilities a lot more, because I used to not really like mod for ability strength, because I just prefer to use the weapons for that, like I mentioned before. But as of recently, I've started really digging into like optimizing either range or duration and then maxing out strength unless you just want the abilities for sustain, and it's given me such good results. Like I've recently taken to playing oh, what's his name? The freaking assassin, Ash Prime, and I'm having so much fun with him. I know he's not a meta choice, but honestly, I don't give two flying fucks about meta because I just like the game to feel fun. Another thing is that I don't seem to have access to a lot of the mods that people mostly recommend for like entering Steel Path and this other stuff. Like I have a good amount of them, but for example, the 60/60 mods, the you know 60 element, 60 status chance mods, I'm almost done collecting them. I think I just need one that's like is it a corrupted mod? No, it's not a corrupted mod. I think I just need one from like a Kuba Fortress Spy mission, and I'll have all of them for like all the different weapons. After that, I only have a couple of galvanized mods that I need to get, and after that, it's just like trying to do newer content because I have been focusing way too hard on clearing older content before I move to new content. And I think that's another thing that has stifled my growth in this game, because I think what you're supposed to do is just do new content as it comes, and you can clear the old content later or when it's relevant to you. I haven't grinded out the Hex standing. I haven't even done any of the Hex missions or bounties. I haven't done the old piece. I'm getting close to maxing out Kavia standing, but I haven't even really dug into that as much as I should have. So I can understand that being part of this whole DPS problem I've got going on. But it's still a little bit weird because I do see people absolutely ripping and tearing with stuff that I have available to me, but that I can't seem to make it work like they can for some reason. But whatever, as long as I can keep playing, I'll just keep banging my head against the wall, and hopefully somebody in the comments will be like, hey, here's a good like guide, like look this up. And I'm like, oh cool. Because honestly, I'm open to suggestions. I'm open to backseating. Like you can like absolutely watch this and backseat and be like, oh my god, you're standing where they're damaging you, you fool. And I'm like, yeah, I am a fool. How can I be better, great sensei? Please teach me. But nah, joking aside, it's just a skill issue, and like any reliable FromSoft gamer, I just bash my head against the wall until either it breaks or I pass out. Anyway, taking a look at this actual gameplay you're looking at, I know it looks really bad, but the thing is, for some reason, turning on the recording makes me a worse player. Like, I promise, I am at least like 30% better than what you're seeing now. But for some reason, and it's only when I turn on the recording, otherwise I'm in a flow state, but as soon as I turn the recording on, streamer luck goes up, ability goes down. Another thing that kind of betrays how nervous I was doing this recording is that if you look at the top right, you'll see my hands, right? And you can see me pushing buttons and playing the game. If you go back, if you rewind the video back to the beginning, you'll notice there is a huge section of it where I legitimately don't have my hands in front of the webcam because they're under the desk because I'm so nervous like playing the game. I didn't even realize that I wasn't getting footage of my hands using the controller. It's got me thinking, right, that maybe I'm just built to make the 8-minute, art and yap videos, because these like longer, like 30 to 50 minute like gaming videos, doing the commentary for them takes me like days of like edits and reshoots or re-records, because I'm not made to like, I'm made for like burst I'm a burst DPSer when it comes to yapping, right? I like get all my yapping out there, and that's all the damage. Like that's all my DPS. Like I don't sustain DPS over a long period of time, which is a good thing that this editing software allows me to record, pause, because otherwise I could not do all of this in like one or even two or three takes. Like there are so many takes that I'm cobbling together in order to get this recording done. Getting back to Warframe, I think I will actually, the very next thing I'm gonna do is just do the old Peace Quest and just level up all the more recent content and then worry about the older content later, because I missed out on the arcane farm that the old Peace had, where you did an event and it gave you currency that you could spend on like specific targeted arcanes. And I missed out on that, and it breaks my heart, because arcanes is the grind I'm most passionate about so far, because it's the most vital to how I'm going to like progress the damage I'm gonna be able to do and the builds I'm gonna be able to make. I know that mods, technically speaking, are the most vital part of like building any piece of equipment, but I find arcanes to be the most fun part to like think about and workshop and theory craft. However, don't talk to me about ribbon mods. Like, I despise... Okay, maybe that's too strong a term. I like everything about the ribbon system except the unveiling challenges. They are so unfun, tedious, pain in the butt, horrible way to get you to play in different ways, because I don't want to, and it's not fun, and you basically just have to have a specific set of equipment in order to like cheese it in some way or another, and I don't like that. So I despise the ribbon system purely because of the unveiling challenges. I know that every week you can get Steel Essence and Steel Path to get a cipher for ribbons, so you can unveil one without having to do that crappy ass challenge. But the thing is, I'm not, for reasons I've already stated, I can't really do Steel Path reliably, and I can't exactly count on randoms to help me through it. So the most I can do is occasionally farm it with my clanmates and, you know, buy the ribbon cipher and hope I get a good one. And that's as much as I'll engage with the ribbon system. And it sucks because I like the whole re-rolling, the getting new stats, each one is made for a different weapon. I like all of that stuff. I just despise those fucking challenges. And the thing is, I know it's a skill issue. I know it's completely, you know, user error. It's a me problem. But the thing is, it's not fun. And you can't argue with fun or not fun, because it's just like an emotional thing. And the only way to beat an emotion is with an even stronger emotion. And no emotion is stronger than how much I despise the ribbon challenges. By the way, moving on from the annoying ranting, I told you earlier that I was running Ash Prime now. So the reason I started running Ash Prime is because I got him and I went through his abilities and his augments, and I said this dude could help me grind Kuba Fortress Spy in order to get the 60/60 cold mods. And dude, it's a dream come true. Like, just build him for, like, I have an entire tab of a build for him just for duration and nothing else. So I literally just go invisible and like all my worries are gone. I can hack as much as I want. I can get around the cameras. It's no problem. I can learn the layout of the level and not feel like I'm under pressure. Like, dude, Ash Prime is a fucking G. He is the GOAT. The GOAT. And I will not hear otherwise. I don't care that you actually have to engage with the game to play him well, because I know that a lot of the things that make Warframe's meta is how little you have to actually engage with the game in order to freaking... Oh, you saw me move the camera with my hand there. Like, something that makes Warframe's good or not good is is how much work you have to do to make them basically clear the entire screen. I know that with Ash Prime, I do have to be looking at enemies, moving my camera around and stuff. I can't just set it and forget it. I don't care. He's fun. He's great. I love him. He's a G. He's a real one. He's fun to play. Yes, I do have to engage with the game, but God forbid I should have to engage with the game that I've chosen to play. Like, I'm not going to run Octavia and just clear the map and be invisible forever. That's not fun for me. And yes, I know I'm just making things harder for myself and then complaining about, things being hard. So I'm going to stop talking about that and instead talk about how drippy my Caliban Prime looks. Like, Warframe has my favorite, fashion gaming of any game I've ever played. This includes Monster Hunter. This includes any FromSoft game. To me, Warframe is the king of fashion in gaming. Like, there is so much customization and so much crazy stuff you can do. And all I did was randomize his colors, and look how beautiful my boy is. Like, I can't wait to start messing around with Ash Prime and trying to make him look like freaking Majin Buu out of Dragon Ball Z. Getting back to the footage, I noticed that a bunch of players joined this particular group in this mission where, we're still hunting down the Kuvalich thralls and doing the Requiem murmurs and all that. And I don't know if there is enough multiplayer support for people who are trying to run Kuvalich stuff, because sometimes you're kind of stuck doing either a spy mission or, God forbid, an interception or maybe a disruption, and you're kind of boned unless you can get people who happen to be running Kuvaliches on that same mission node. And not to say that that it isn't possible to solo that stuff, but it still can be pretty troublesome. And again, we get into the thing where it's unfun for me doesn't mean it wouldn't be fun for other people. But I just wish there was a bit more of a reliable way to maybe a little bit curate what missions you have to do to get your Kuvalich to appear, like the nodes, because you're essentially just wearing them down, and if your luck is particularly bad, you can end up with the least desirable nodes, and you're just gonna have to do them solo because other people just happen to not be running those nodes in the Kuvalich format. And speaking of interception missions, I want them to try and make them a bit more solo friendly, like they did with disruption missions, where the bomber that takes out the conduits, like the things you have to protect, if they're within a certain range of your hearing or your Warframe's position on the map, you just kind of get a little symbol that says, hey, they're in this direction, which is great. And now I actually I don't get horrible performance anxiety or get real sweaty whenever I'm running a disruption mission. So I want them to do something some quality of life like that for interception missions. Maybe make it so that if you are playing solo, there's only there's only 2 or 3 actual areas that you have to control, so you can manage them a bit more easily. And if there's 2 players, then there's 3, and if there's 4 players, then there's if there's 3 or 4 players, then there's 4. Something like that. Just account for the fact that there's only one of me and I can't be everywhere at once, even with Warframes that can duplicate themselves. And yes, I know Vapor Specters are a thing. It's kind of shitty having to create a Vapor Spectre every single time that I'm gonna have to do an interception mission. I always get those two confused every time I do an interception mission. And also, they kind of follow you, so it's a moot point. right? So we still get back to the problem of there's only one of me and there's 4 places, 3 of which I have to hold, and then 2, because you have to hold 3 initially so you can like overshoot the enemy's percentage, and once you do that, then you only need to hold 2 because you'll eventually reach the end before they do. But it's such a pain in the butt solo and even 2-player, because heck, it's even a pain in the butt 4-player, because the thing is, even when you have a full squad, people run around the different, like go from one to the other instead of everybody just sticking with one. Like if we're doing a 3-player or 4-player, everybody should just stick to one and then we'll eventually win. But no, they like move around the map and do all sorts of things, and it's like the point is to hold these points of defense. But whatever, like I just hope they do a little bit of quality of life on that. In other news, I was running our relics earlier today and I was trying to get Shade Prime, and I swear I got every single possible reward of that particular relic except the Shade Prime blueprint. I got all the bronzes, I got the 1 silver, I even got the gold. I got the gold drop, and they were all like I refined all of them, and I got every single one except the Shade Prime blueprint. It was so unlucky, and it killed me because some of those drops were actually really good, except I've already had them or crafted them, so it was pretty much, hey, here, have some ducats. And I was left like, bro, I just wanted to build Shade Prime, man. And the worst part is, I'm left without the relics now. Like, I ran out of those relics, and I don't know if they're the ones that are active right now, so I might have just basically locked myself out of being able to get Shade Prime, which is the companion I really wanted to run with Baruch, because I wanted to do like a stealth Baruch finishing thing where I use his 3 to teleport to enemies and just finish them off and like boost the finisher damage, so that like I just like if an enemy is even at 80% health, it's still a finisher. It was gonna be so awesome, and now RNG just looked at me and said, nah bruh, sorry. Hang on, I just realized that I said Baruch and I was thinking of Ash Prime again. I'm sorry. I do have Baruch Prime, but I don't plan on using him because his like skill like rotation doesn't appeal to me, because it seems a lot of like waiting for the enemy to attack you so that then you can get your buff and like do your damage. But yeah, I was talking about Ash Prime because he has the teleport move where you teleport to an enemy, and if the finisher would kill them, then you do a finisher. But anyway, putting that aside, I'm finally reaching the end of this almost interminable recording. Thank you for watching or listening if you did either, and if you got this far, you have my thanks. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one, which will be an Art and Yap. Bye.